Get ready. Walt Disney World fans may have never heard of Beastly Kingdom, and that's most likely due to the fact that it was never built. This area was originally set to be an opening day land found in Disney's Animal Kingdom. This would have been the most imaginative land for the all-new theme park, and yet it was never built. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the unbuilt history of Beastly Kingdom. We'll show you the concept for the land, as well as the attractions it would have included, and the reasons it remains unbuilt. Get ready. The concept behind Beastly Kingdom. When Disney's Animal Kingdom originally opened, it was proposed to incorporate various forms of animal life. Attractions and exhibits were supposed to be themed around real, extinct, and imaginary animals. Attractions like Kilimanjaro safaris showed the real animals, while extinct ones can be found in Dinosaur. But you can't have Disney without some sort of fantastical storybook elements though. And this is where Beastly Kingdom would have come into the Animal Kingdom equation. Although on opening day, there was a definite lack of imaginary animals to be found. This was because the proposed imaginary section of the park, Beastly Kingdom, was never built. This 14-acre land was set to be one of the best themed areas in the park. It was also to include unique attractions along with the park's signature thrilling roller coaster. Beastly Kingdom was originally conceived to have two specific parts, one side representing all things good, with the other representing all things bad. Each section of the land would have their own corresponding attractions. In the good realm, there was to be two distinctive attractions. These would house the more pleasant creatures associated with fantasy stories. The first attraction would be an interactive hedge maze called Quest for the Unicorn. Guests would wander through the maze in search of 5 golden idols. When each idol was found, guests would unlock a further section of the maze. Eventually, when all 5 idols were found, visitors would eventually be led to a mystical grotto. This would be home to an animatronic unicorn. Similar concepts for this can be seen in Disneyland Paris with the inclusion of Alice's Curious Labyrinth, as well as Le Tenière de Dragon. The second attraction to be found in the good realm of Beastly Kingdom would be Fantasia Gardens. This was set to be a boat-based attraction themed after the 1940 Fantasia film. Riders would voyage in boats through many of the scenes from the original film, and this would be synchronized with the original score made up of classical music. This would have brought riders into the film itself, visiting many of the mythological animals such as Pegasi and centaurs. The land's, and more inclusively the park as a whole's, main thrill ride was set to be a high-speed roller coaster named Dragon Tower. The story behind the attraction was that a fire-breathing dragon had taken over a ruined castle. The greedy dragon is also said to be hoarding a significant amount of treasure. However, the castle was also inhabited by bats who are set to steal it. The bats have enlisted us as guests to help rob the treasure by flying us in giant cauldrons. Guests boarding the suspended cauldrons will be brought on a thrilling suspended roller coaster through the castle. The climax of the ride would bring guests into the chamber fit with a fire-breathing 30-foot animatronic dragon. Guests would come face to face with a dragon in a treasure-filled room. This would have blended dark ride elements with a thrilling coaster and was due to be one of the park's signature attractions. The land was also due to include its own restaurant called Loch Ness Landing. This would have been themed after the mythological creature and was supposed to incorporate periodic visits by the monster himself. There's no definitive answer as to what type of food this would have served, although the theme would suggest that it was probably made up of Scottish cuisine or maybe seafood. Beastly Kingdom history. Beastly Kingdom was estimated to cost between $200 and $300 million to build. This one land would have taken up a huge portion of the $1 billion budget for the whole park. During the park's construction, it also became evidently clear that they were quite over budget. Many of the original expected costs for other areas of the park were drastically understated, putting financial strain on construction, as well as Disney still feeling the effects of the initial failure of the relatively new Disneyland Paris resort. Based on this, a decision was to be made as to which land would be cut from development. The two lands in question were Beastly Kingdom and Dinoland USA. Ultimately, then Disney CEO Michael Eisner decided to forge ahead with the Dinoland USA construction, cutting Beastly Kingdom. This would have suited Michael Eisner, as Dinoland USA would have been much cheaper to both build and theme. Around this time, Disney also had a CGI animated film in the works called Dinosaur. This meant that the park could further tie in the new film with the land, and more specifically its own attraction. Countdown to Extinction would see its name then changed to Dinosaur in order to market it as based on the film. Beastly Kingdom was subsequently pushed back to be added as part of the second phase of Animal Kingdom. This construction was originally intended to be scheduled for between the years of 2000 and 2001. Disney had to fill up some of the available space left behind following the cut of Beastly Kingdom. Camp Mini Mickey was therefore quickly built. This would act as a temporary location as a designated character meet and greet section, and 2 stages for shows and entertainment were also included to pad out the area as well as the overall park. This was never intended to be a long-standing land though, as Beastly Kingdom was still due to be built at a later stage. However, Camp Mini Mickey would remain in the exact same spot until 2014, meaning this temporary land ended up staying on the map about 14 years longer than originally anticipated. Much of the early marketing for the park featured a dragon, along with other real-life and extinct animals. This would indicate that Disney still intended on incorporating beasts into their park. Still to this day, a dragon is featured in the logo for the park, and a dragon is also one of the animals featured above the park's entrance. For opening day, however, there were other references in the park showing guests things yet to come. Discovery Riverboats was a short-lived attraction that took guests around Safari Village, circling the Tree of Life. This only operated for the first year after the park had opened. The boat ride took guests past several scenes of the river, hinting towards future attractions in the various lands. As boats passed Camp Mini Mickey, they came across elements suggesting the further inclusion of Beastly Kingdom. This would include a stone dragon type fountain, as well as a cavern that would shoot out a ball of fire that would insinuate a dragon was actually inside. Further along, there was also a stone unicorn, showing the potential good side of the land to come. These elements would act as a contrast to the other real-life animals in the park, hinting towards the park's development in the next few years. This in turn would have further indicated that Beastly Kingdom was still intended on being built. So why then was this section of the park never realised? What became of Beastly Kingdom? Based on financial constraints, the land was not included in the first phase of the park, but there was always a future plan to include Beastly Kingdom. In the meantime, however, Universal Orlando had since opened its second gay theme park, Islands of Adventure. Within this park was the Lost Continent, a whole designated land to mythology and fantasy-based attractions. Part of these attractions would include the Flying Unicorn, a small family coaster themed to the mythological animal, as well as Duelling Dragons. The dragon-themed attraction brought guests through a castle as part of the queue and then would feature a suspended roller coaster. It has been said that many of the original Imagineers that had worked on Beastly Kingdom ended up leaving Disney for one reason or another. Subsequently, many of these landed new roles at Universal Creative. The ideas originally fit for the Disney park could be seen to have been part of the new Universal development. Many have speculated that Dragon Tower went on to become Dueling Dragons, while the theming behind Quest for the Unicorn would be used for the Flying Unicorn. At the risk of looking like they were copying Universal, Disney stepped away from the original idea of Beastly Kingdom. Animal Kingdom would also later get its own e-ticket thrill ride with Expedition Everest. In this ride, guests come face to face with the Yeti, a mythological creature in its own right. The thrilling roller coaster also reaches a climax with an upfront encounter with the angry beast himself. Similar themes can of course be seen across Expedition Everest and Dragon Tower. This further shows that a good idea tends to have a way of resurfacing in Disney theme parks. In October 2013, Disney formally announced Pandora, the World of Avatar. The land would neatly tie together both the conservation and environmental themes of the park. And this in turn would celebrate fantastical and imaginary animal life originally intended for Beastly Kingdom. This would also replace Camp Mini Mickey, the original intended area for the land. It's fitting to see this part of the park essentially come full circle, although with a slightly different retheme. This $500 million expansion shows the development and growth of Disney parks in more recent years. This expansion cost roughly twice the amount originally planned for Beastly Kingdom, which was deemed too expensive at the time. 2 attractions feature in Pandora. Avatar Flight of Passage takes riders on the back of a banshee for a wondrous journey. Banshees in turn are similar to what we would imagine as dragons, and this in turn makes use of some of the Dragon Tower concept. While Fantasia Gardens can be seen to have eventually been used in Navi River Journey, this is a gentle, slow-moving boat ride through mystical landscapes in tune with music. It's also interesting to note that Fantasia Gardens as a name has since been used on Walt Disney World property. Located across from the Swan and Dolphin Resorts is the Fantasia Gardens miniature golf course. The theme used is based around scenes from Fantasia, which would have been the basis for the Beastly Kingdom attraction. Again, this further shows that although never built, concepts have a way to circle back into production. Final thoughts. Beastly Kingdom was set to be Animal Kingdom's most richly themed and story-based land upon opening. As we've seen, financial strains, conflicting marketing ideas, and eventually over-competition led to the cancellation of the land. The land would have included some unique and imaginative attractions that we're sure would have been amazing, but that's not to say we lost out on never getting to experience the land. Elements and ideas have since been incorporated into the park, as well as others. Some of these form the basis as to why this is one of our favourite theme parks in the world. Although the Avatar theming might timestamp the park, this fits the overall idea of Animal Kingdom more. Whereas Beastly Kingdom would have been conceptually unique at the time, it feels played out by now. It's hard to recreate authenticity when it comes to semi-historical theming. This is why a park like Efteling soars, because it feels, and to a certain extent is, authentically magical. We've also benefited as theme park fans from this cancellation. We still got to experience the Lost Continent and its attractions and lines of adventure, and we also get to experience Pandora and its attractions now, as well as Expedition Everest. So in our own way, we get the best of both worlds. And this just confirms that, despite never being built, good ideas don't go to waste. Check out some of our other videos in this series. We recently made a video for Universal Studios Florida filled with some cool original concepts that were never made. We also took a full deep dive look into Flight of Passage in our What Makes This Ride So Good series. Both of these will be on screen now. For more theme park tips, tricks and information, check out our website. We have a whole host of helpful articles as well as theme park reviews and quizzes for you to enjoy. We'll leave a link down in the description below. And now you're ready.